So you've been working professionally for quite a long time. Why did you suddenly decide to start pursuing illustration a bit more?
I worked full-time for 6 years at agencies as an art director, and then about 2 years ago, I went freelance as an art director. I just wanted to grab some time for myself, so I went freelance, and I remember one day I sat down and I thought of a sweater that I really liked, and I thought, oh, it'd be really cool to draw that. And so I have my my bamboo, which is like my drawing pad for the computer. Yeah, I kind of just, had it right there, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just draw this sweater? And then I drew the sweater, and I drew a person around it, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And it was fun, and I didn't do it for anyone else, and I just did it for myself. I honestly was inspired by just clothing. I know that sounds weird, but I was inspired by fashion and clothing, and I wanted to just draw the things in my head, and that's basically how I started. It wasn't planned. It didn't come out of, the art direction world or anything like that. It literally came out of enough time saved away to actually just do something, and that's what it ended up being. It's hard for me to draw things literally. I was drawing bodies around the clothing instead of doing a literal face, so eyes, nose, mouth, and things like that, and, hair in strands. I just started thinking about other ways to do that in the same way that there were other ways to draw the clothing. So there's what you see, but then there's also kind of like how you can play with what you see. So if you see a face, maybe there's one eye, or maybe there's just two, or maybe there's no mouth, or maybe there's just a mouth. I just find I like to draw things that are unexpected. So if it's expected to see, two eyes, a nose, and a mouth on a face, then I reject it. If it's expected to see clothing, covering a part of the body that it's meant to cover, then I reject it and I put it on like the head, because I think that's what's interesting about it, You can take a picture of something and have something be exactly what it is, or you can interpret it yourself. And that to me is what illustration is. It's your interpretation of what you're seeing, not what it literally is in a photograph or in person.
What in particular attracted you to the work of Andrea Cruz?
I think her stuff looked like the stuff that I draw, Something clicked when I saw her stuff, and I was like, oh, of course, that has to be what I choose, She sort of rejects what's expected, and I thought that it would be really fun to take her interpretation of that and then add another layer to it. And she's playful. I'm really playful too, and with my illustrations and my drawings and the way that I think about forms, I really felt like it was the perfect fit.
How do you literally construct your drawings? What's the process of making them?
I start thinking about forms and what I'm going to draw the clothes on. So I think about body shapes and positions and things like that. And maybe I start to draw a part of the clothing and then maybe draw the body sort of around it. I always get stuck on colors in my head wherever I could be like sitting on the subway and I see like someone's socks and it's just two incredible colors and I just can't get it out of my head. A couple days later, I'll be like, okay, I have to draw something that speaks to those colors. So I'm actually able to do the sketching on my computer. It doesn't look like sketching like how you would in a book, but for me, sketching can be, two circles of those two colors that I was obsessed with on the subway, and then sort of like the beginning of a form of a body that I want to draw. So it's like it's like a moving sketchbook on my computer that I can then take and piece together. I draw in Illustrator, and then I sort of like, when I have something that I like, I start to add layers to it in Photoshop. So I'll take something and I'll move it into Photoshop and start to manipulate textures and things like that. Yeah, I would love to make illustration sort of like a viable option for me as far as like actually maybe like replacing some of the direction stuff that I do because I love it. I think there's no better way to get people interested, number one, in that fashion designer, and also through that interest that fashion designers cause, than to show them something interesting and beautiful. It's a great way to get more people interested and to spread the word.